You're on the phone like this all the time, and this person has a terrible form, and over here breaking their back trying to get a dumbbell. So you're just like,
we seen, and then you put it on your TikTok like you're really changed, like you're really doing something.
Yeah, like it takes a different type of woman to be okay with a man looking at ass all day. Like
let's just be real.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I definitely fail sometimes too, but it's just like it's not that deep, babe. Come on.
All right, you guys, welcome back to Mixtape Talks. We are here with a very, I don't even call him a special guest. It's like a homie that I've known forever. So it's like, hey, let's have the homie on the podcast. No, I'm just kidding. I've known this gentleman for a while. I'm really proud of all his accolades so far. So for me, I wanted to have him on the pod because I feel like he speaks to that younger audience that we have of entrepreneurs that are trying to figure their shit out but really don't know. Yeah. And he's going to give you a little bit of insight on what it takes to be, first of all, an accomplished personal trainer, but also how to learn how to brand yourself and maybe take that business in another direction. So welcome to the podcast, Justina Arroyo.
Shout out to Meals by Mel because he is a sponsored athlete.
I was definitely going to say that in there when we got to the part where it's like Meals by Mel, but I was trying to give him his flowers. So again, thank you for being on the podcast, Justina Arroyo.
Thank you guys for having me, man.
How do you feel today, dude?
I feel...
Are you nervous?
Very, man. It's like you got 25 cameras in here.
Is this your first podcast?
First podcast, but it's not my first time being in front of the camera because Ziggy will tell you, I'm like one take Drake.
Dang, let's hope so.
Yeah.
I have a question. I just want to know how did you even start off by being a personal trainer? Like, what inspired you to go that route in your life?
Man, that's a really long answer. I would say this girl I was dating at the time was a trainer at Self-Made Rancho, and I went and ended up working out because she was like, come check it out. And at the time, I was just working at Fleming's, Prime Steakhouse and Wine Bar. So she's like, come check it out. So I went to check it out, and I'm like, man, I've heard the hype about, Self-Made. I was kind of against it. And the owner of Self-Made, Dre, always talks about me when he does the pitch to the trainers. But he always says like, oh, when Justin came in, he was so against it, but he was just so dang big, like a football linebacker. So he came up to me and asked me, he's like, you can be a trainer here too? Like, what's taking you so long? And I was like, nah, I've heard about Self-Made. It's just the hype. And then next thing you know.
Hey, bro. I'm waiting for the story to turn around, so keep going.
Next thing you know, I end up signing with them, man. And I got introduced to Dre, to DJ, to Justine. And then once I went over to Justine to mentor me and DJ, Darian, or the app guys, everyone knows them. I met Jason, and then we had like a really long conversation. He just told me, like, I asked him how can I be as a trainer, what to expect, and what avenues can I expect to be, running into, and I just took it from there. And I just haven't looked back since.
Good word.
Honestly, Jason and his good words. I was an anti-self-mader.
Jason could speak like he could. That guy,
no, that guy can sell ice to an Eskimo for sure.
He could speak and persuade you.
I was self-made.
This isn't about me, though. This isn't about me.
That's right. I had the same pep talk with him.
That's
he was
exactly like
it's gonna change.
I'm all same.
Listen. When I speak to someone about becoming a trainer, or someone tells me what their aspirations are, I tell them exactly what they're going to encounter, but I've been through it all. Yeah. So it's very easy for me to speak on what it's like to be a trainer and not make money, what it's like to put yourself out there, what it's like to work at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. So I get it all the time. Like, why do you want to become a trainer is the first thing I ask people. Yeah. Like, if you're doing it just for income, like, there's a lot of other ways you can make income.
It's the wrong place to be.
It's definitely the wrong place to be. But I mean, so like, even when I spoke with you about it, you were very passionate about it. That's one thing that always I remember was like how much you were willing to learn. Like, you didn't care. Like, you knew about me from Instagram, but you were really like, hey, I've heard from people that you've helped them, like, point me in the right direction. What am I doing wrong? How could I do better? And I think that's how we kind of forged our friendship. There was no ego between us, right? There's no like, oh, I'm the alpha, you're the alpha, whatever. It was just like, hey, you've been there, so how do I get there?
Right.
That's important. Yeah, there was no ego whatsoever. And that's one thing that I always resonates with me about you. And the reason why I think you're so successful is because you don't have ego. You've never had ego. Like, anyone that's ever dealt with you never said, oh, I have beef with Justin. Damn, you must have done something wrong, because that man literally has no ego.
Yeah, I let it be. Speaking about that, like, I'm a learner. Like, you tell me something, how to go get some money or just inspire people, I'm gonna take what you told me, I'm gonna make it my own. So that's kind of where I just took my whole training, experience in general over the years is just making sure I'm always learning, making sure I look at the veterans, making sure I look at Jason, making sure I look at even Master Trainer Rob. You guys know him from Self-Made Rancho. Just taking his advice of training tips, because nowadays, in my opinion, I feel like new trainer era is just like, it's a new thing to do. It's a new trend, I guess you can say. Like, I'm a trainer, come train with me. But do you actually know how to get someone to be from unhealthy to healthy? Yeah. Do you actually care about their well-being? Do you actually care about if they're having a bad day? Because when you're a trainer, and you guys can attest to this, you're not just a trainer. You're a therapist. You're a best friend. You're a counselor. You're, obviously the trainer as well. But then you become friends with these people. Mm-hmm. And then your attention span with them is just always good. You have OG people. I'm pretty sure you two have OG people who are inviting you to weddings and birthdays, and now they're texting you happy birthday, and it's like,
becomes more personal.
Yeah, now you realize that personal trainer is more deep than you expected. And that's my experience is when you actually show compassion and show that you're actually passionate in someone else's, life, being from being depressed to now having the confidence and being a newborn person, in a way, it's the best feeling. 100%. It's better than any amount of money can give you. I've helped veterans, and I've helped disabled veterans, and now he came to me, one of my 5am, he's been with me for a year. He came to me, he was on crutches with a stick, it was on crutches and with lower back pain. And I went home that day and studied about back pain and how to fix it, and a year later, now he's down 56 pounds, and he's like, my marriage is better because I have a new outlet of therapy. Because of being a vet, you have certain things to go through. And that is the most rewarding thing. So I would say clients like that is the best.
I love that.
Yeah. And that's how you become a trainer that people want. Not people because you look the part. Obviously, looking the part is very key. And that's another thing that people forget. A lot of trainers tend to stray away from. But you also have to stay the part, but you have to be a person too.
Yeah.
Relationship building the whole time.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, we kind of experienced the same with trainers. And again, it's kind of full circle because I know I had a little part of it, and I'm not going to take any claim for what you did. I mean, I had one or two conversations with you, but I want to kind of speak on that. I come from an era of training when it was more of an emotional attachment. There was social media, there was a Facebook, right? But we would be oh, that's the trainer that helped change that one person's life. Literally when I was corporate, there'd be people overweight and damn, how did they lose weight? Oh, it was that trainer. Nowadays, you do have a lot of the new trainers coming in, right? And you're currently at a gym it's a huge gym, a lot of new people coming in. Do you feel like that's kind of taking away from the personal training business as far as people coming into it for the clout, or people coming into it for whatever selfish reason other than trying to really help people?
Mm-hmm. You do see that now more than ever, especially with TikTok. TikTok is blowing up, the gym life. And I'm not trying to shame it. Hey, I cheer for everyone, clap for everyone that's walking in the gym because you have some sort of demons or bad day or whatever it may be, negative impact in your life they try and get rid of in that gym. Yeah. So I do see that now. And I do feel like those trainers will come to light within themselves. They will get exposed, and then just by doing that, for example, this when you train a client,
I hate that.
you get exposed, and that's really popular in a lot of new trainers these days. And the clients watch, everyone watches, members watch, and oh, I like the way you train this person. This person, I'm catching more of a sweat than I would in my old trainer. And then sometimes I'm just that's not my business. This is how I do things. So they will definitely expose themselves. It's just a matter of waiting. And you just gotta continue to just mind your business and continue to just train your clients, the ones you have, make sure that you're focused on them for the amount of time. And essentially, sometimes you do, I will be on my phone too as well, but like you guys said, I'm a father now, so it's if I'm on the phone, so my next client, warm up, I'm on the way, perfect. Little things like that are acceptable. When you're on the phone like this all the time, and then this person has a terrible form, they're over here breaking their back trying to get a dumbbell, bro. You're just
we seen, and then you put it on your TikTok you're really changed, you're really doing something. Hey, look at this. No, bro, you need to go back and reassess. Yeah.
And so I find a way kind of to not always say expose trainers, but just trying to bring more of awareness of sometimes I make little reels about how bad form is. that way, hopefully some new trainers that walk in, you know, and into these new gyms or trying to be a trainer, like make sure they don't do that.
Yeah. Do you think they take that and like reciprocate it as like, okay, maybe I should do a little bit more research on it, or you think they take that as hate? Like I've seen some of those videos where you're like, hey, is this your trainer? Or like, are they on their phone? Or like I've seen you mention it, and I had no problem with it because I know that ain't me.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
But do you think have you ever gotten slack from someone like, hey, he's a hater? Like why is he trying to?
I would say no. I've never really had a problem with any trainer that's gonna come up to me about those videos, because in reality, it's if you got offensive, then offense by
it's you.
It's like Cinderella, you better put that shoe on and just walk around with it. Cause,
right.
You know, it's not my fault that I see these things. Like I'm just how your clients have eyes, I have eyes too. You know, and that's something I just say like, hey, do you want me to help you train? You could sign up with me, and I can help you be a trainer too. I
mean, hey, all trainers have trainers. That's just kind of the way 100%. It is. So you've been in the industry for a while. Do you now? I feel like you're like in a place where you can mentor people, mentor trainers, mentor stuff like that. Have you had any trainers that have like kind of reached out to you? Have you started mentoring or kind of jumping into that little bit of the field?
Yeah, I actually taken on my brother-in-law. He started with me at Self-Made Rancho, and then when we moved to our new President Gym right now. And I just kind of take him under the wing of like how he should be as a trainer, how attentive. You know, obviously he looks the part. You know, he's pretty. He got the body. All right, let's get the knowledge in you. You know, and make sure you're talkative with your client. So I kind of mentor him because you can't make money in this game. You can make 6 figures. I've made 6 figures since day one that I've started. And you know, you can be successful. Thank you. You can be successful. You can buy a house. Those things are achievable. But you got to put the time into it. Like Ice Cube said in that one reel, if you guys have seen it or not, you prepared to put 5 years in this without seeing a breakthrough.
That there,
spoke to me.
5 years is what I tell people. People think like as soon as you open the doors or you start your business, dude, I tell people, like even when I spoke with you, it's like 5 years from now, like everything I do, this podcast, the gyms I have, anything. 5 years from now, like where do we see it?
Especially you, because you got to remember, y'all went through the pandemic and y'all were really in the grind, the gutter.
All right, bro.
And that was like year one.
It really was. It was
y'all was like,
wow.
Yeah.
Y'all were like 5 years. Man,
I did not see that.
How year one's going?
Yeah. That 100% wasn't in the
not in the
that was one of the dreams.
And it's like it's those things, right, that you're not prepared for, but then they teach you how to get out.
But those are the moments that will expose you.
Yep.
Like like you know what I mean? Like going back to lyrics, like, you know, I think Drake has something like, oh, you know, I heard you're doing well. Like, we'll see. Like, let's really see. So when people like open a gym or people start this and they start coming at me, and I've kind of accepted like, oh, they come at me because I'm the gold standard. Right. So you're going to come at me. You're going to try to pick. Come to me in like a couple years. Come to me when you have some stuff. And 100%. Really, you want me on your side because I've been through a lot. No, I'm being real.
No, facts, yeah.
Like I talk to a lot of other gym owners, and we go back and forth, and a lot of people will call me, and I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to gatekeep anything. No. Even with you, like you were never directly one of my trainers, right? And what I try to do is help my trainers directly, but you made yourself accessible to me, and that's one thing that stuck out. I was like, you were like, Jay, what gym are you at? I would travel there right now. You do that now.
100%.
You do that now. You're like, hey, let's get a workout in. Where you at? I'll go, whatever the time. And I'm like, damn, that's what's up. Like, that's someone that's going to really make it in life because you understand the importance of not only networking, but of continuing education.
100%.
Right? The game is not a textbook. The game is like what I'm playing right now. That's real life.
So what are some steps that you did take to become a successful trainer? From beginning till even now? To
beginning, honestly, just reaching out to people who are there. Reaching out to the vets in the game, reaching out to people first off who look like that. Yeah. Because even though the PEDs or whatever you say, some trainers probably do partake in that, but you know, people who actually look the part, they also put the work in. So I'll go to, you know, the veterans in the game. I go to
You outsourced.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm always, you know, YouTube education. I'm a big believer in YouTube. And not only that, you just got to make sure that you're always your authentic self.
Yeah.
100%, because you're gonna get people like Jason will tell you. You know, you're gonna get people that talk behind your back. You can get people like, oh, why is this person trying to be a trainer now? But it's like, at least I'm trying.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm always trying to look for gain to still. Always trying to look for gain to improve on, and then passing out knowledge. Actually, maybe you can attest to, both of you guys can attest to this as well. Like when new trainers come up to you and are like, they're still asking you the same questions. Oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? But sometimes you gotta like it would get annoying to me when I'm like year 2. I'm like, bro, I literally just told you. But then again, it humbles you because it's like they're coming to me for a reason.
Right. Yeah.
So that makes me go back and study and get better.
Yeah.
So I'll continue to learn is what I would say. And definitely don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to ask, because you don't look stupid for asking a question that you actually need answers to.
And you got to be teachable.
100%. You got to be open. You got to be a sponge to the game. You got to be able to be like, okay, I'm going to open a gym. Who am I going to call? You know, I can call. Can I say his name? Miguel.
Yeah, you say like
Miguel.
Yeah, you say. Hey.
I was like,
hey,
Miguel,
you can say anybody's name you want to say, bro.
Jason. You can call Tomas in Orange County. You know, there's certain people that are always on social media, and most of them are not putting at the front. You could tell. You could recognize real.
Yeah.
And you know, people who are teaching things that you actually learn from, you could hit them up. You know, I've hit up Miguel, I've hit up Jason, hit up Dre, hit up Tomas. I've even hit up new veteran trainers in the game, like DJ. Like, even though he doesn't do like, you know, clients in person, the man is very smart. He has a whole degree in how to be a personal trainer as well.
He really
he's
does.
actually a really good trainer.
He really does.
So like, people don't know, he's actually my first mentor. Wow. So like, going to him 24/7, and Dion Hudson, shout out to him as well. Always picking their brain.
All the local legends.
All the legends.
All the local legends.
All of them.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
And now you see the legends teaching others, and I feel like right behind those people, like hopefully Marissa and Jason and Dre, and it's like then there's DJ and Dion, and like I'm right behind them. It's like, okay, if I can get to that point, I must be. If I can see that point, I must be getting closer.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to keep on trying to build my own name now. Obviously, I'm not with self-made anymore, but I do have a lot of love and respect for.
Because that's where you started.
Yeah.
I mean that's where you learn the game.
Yeah.
100%. It's education. It's college for trainers.
That's exactly. And again, like for us, it's always like we understand the life
College
expectancy.
For trainers, yeah.
It really is. We understand the life expectancy of trainers, right? I've never hired a trainer and told them, hey, you're going to be with me for the entirety of my lease with this building. I tell them the average trainer will stay here from a year to 2 years. Some trainers really find a home and they learn how to maximize their money through online using our apps, and they stay longer. Whatever path you go, you're going to learn something from me. Yep. You're going to take off. You're going to be a big name, and then you're going to help pull me up, a la DJ. Right? Yeah. DJ is the one that started with no fucking training experience whatsoever, and then he learned the game, and now
look at him.
He's up there almost at 1 million followers. I mean, that's just one person. I can name 20 of them at other gyms that have been from self-made, and that's what I tell a lot of people. It's like the university for training.
Well, even I think that's where like people are like, oh, self-made, like the hype. I mean, I was that person, but when you actually are in the self-made family, like, yeah, take advantage of all those resources. Like
100%.
You have so many people that you can bounce ideas from. You just named off 5 franchise owners that you were able to call up. Like, you can't do that at a mom and pop gym where it's like, no, because now you think that is competition. And so once you're with our family and you're not even with the self-made family anymore, we still consider you a part of our family, right? There's no ill will.
Part of my family, bro.
Sure. It's just
I was at love for the other.
No, but honestly, I think that's important, especially you guys talking about how like trainers coming in. I'm a new trainer, by the way, but trainers coming in with like very little experience, and then you do have those like. See those trainers who are like seniority, and maybe they do look at, like you said, they like, oh, you're trying to be a trainer. They look at you that way. But and I always say this too, it doesn't matter like how much experience you have, it doesn't matter how long you've been a trainer. Those new trainers, like, not saying myself, but just there's so many new trainers I watch like every single day at being at Self-Made, and they're like thriving, they're like posting, they're like, as long as you have heart and you have consistency, like, you're gonna get to the top. It doesn't matter how much experience this person has, and if they are a better trainer than you, like, you're gonna get there. It's just being consistent and putting in the work and having the heart. So I definitely see that. What did you say his name is, DJ? How he's at the top. He was like he had no experience, and now look at him. He's on top of everybody.
I mean, I think
I love those stories.
And we had him on a podcast. So if you guys go down, you'll see him. It's that abs guy. But he started. He had an office job. he had like a regular office job, and I remember I was opening West Covina, and he sent me a DM out of the blue. Like, I've never met him. He's like, I'm your next trainer. I go, who are you? You know, but then like that confidence, that's what I always look for. Like people that are just like, confident. And if you're not confident, and if I see something,
confidence,
I will make sure like I see something in you that you don't see in yourself until you catch up to that. Then that's like the perfect storm. But a lot of times, you know, you get people that have the imposter syndrome or they just feel like, oh, I don't belong because I haven't been doing this XYZ. I just feel like,
Which was
dude,
me for so long.
Yeah, all of us started. I was that kid that first started at corporate, and everyone's like, oh, you're just doing this to get girls or whatever. And then I stuck with it, you know. Yeah, corporate.
I'm just being real.
Yeah. I mean, I was in college. I was corporate. And I was like, oh, dude, I get to train females and get paid, and like, I can date them. Like, bro, sign me up.
Squat all day.
No, but one thing I want to speak to say on, I'm backtracking to our conversation, is when you are like a new trainer, don't be afraid to like branch out to different like sub-mates. Like Marissa, you could, like, I'll call 5 different people or 5 different franchises. Like, I remember I started the glute tour.
I was gonna say the Justina Arroyo tour.
Yes.
Yeah, the glute tour, man. I got a lot of backlash from different trainers, and obviously I hear it, but it's just, you just turn a cheek to it. Yeah. But what it taught me is there's so many sharks in one pond. So what if you connect all those ponds and break the barriers, and now you make a stream of all those ponds, and now everyone's eating.
Right.
So now when I made one with Liz from you guys' location, Vinny, you know, me and him are really close friends now. Me and DJ and Trey, we're all really close friends because of the, you know, the whole glute tour
community.
So, you know, you gotta be involved with your, you know, obviously your community within the gym, and don't be afraid, because when people and other trainers are talking bad about your name, it's because they can't do it, or they're too scared to take that step. And when I first started it, I remember I went to Justina, I was like, I'm gonna make this glute tour, but how do I do it? Do I contact Jason to go over, or do I contact the trainers? And she was like, just go for it, be yourself. So then when I started making connections with Redland trainers, Corona trainers, Ranchos, obviously I lived there, or was there, West Covinas and Chinos, you started traveling, you started meeting different personal trainers, and then they put you on their story, so their followers are following you, and my followers are following them. So it's like, it becomes a connection.
Domino
it's like,
effect.
When someone hits you up, it's like, oh, I need a trainer, but I live in, you know, Azusa. Perfect. I got a perfect person for you. Yeah. You want a male or female?
Right.
I got you. And through the glute tour, I was able to do that. The glute tour, I was able to shoot Vinny some clients, or Selena, or Ariana, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So it's like, don't be afraid of collabing with other new trainers because of, oh, I don't want to be, you know, having my potential clients being stolen.
Right. And you got to put your ego aside.
You got to. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, that's how you grow. You got to have the break bread mentality. Especially, that's my number 1 tip of like new trainers, is make sure you're not afraid to be yourself, as well as break bread with the person to your right or your left or in front of you or back of you, because you might need them one day. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's a big tip that I would definitely. And the glute tour is making a comeback, by the way.
So you're a dad now.
Yes.
How do you balance your life being a trainer and being a new father now?
Well, being an entrepreneur as, you know, a trainer, the beauty of it, the pros is you make your own schedule. Obviously, the responsibility of being a father is like the anxiety. I wouldn't say anxiety, but the stresses of like, I gotta provide for this baby. Mm-hmm. Dang it. But going home and actually, all of us could test to it now. Are you a mom?
No.
Okay. Well,
I got a dog.
Once you become a mom, you know, you can attest to like being home at your baby and seeing them like smile, and it's like, all right, everything was worth it. Yeah. You know, and that feeling of like, I gotta grind. You if you thought you were a hustler before, you have no idea until you actually have your own look at you and smile, and it's like, all right. So balancing definitely is hard, especially the first couple months. You know, obviously the wife is nursing, or she needed help, you know, taking a shower sometimes is hard, and you got to be home real quick. But it took a while. It took like 4 months for me to really balance it out. Yeah. And now we have a system where it's like, all right, I need you home from this time. Perfect. I'll block out that hour and I'll go home real quick. And that's the beauty of being a personal trainer / entrepreneur, where I can have those, you know, those pros of actually going home and being a father. But there are some days where I'm like, all right, I got a client from 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. and I got to be home late. But you have to keep in the back of your mind, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm still balancing to this day. Yeah. But I always tell Jason, like, even when he posted his daughter's, he was at his daughter's recital, and he posted something about like being financially free is means different to him because he gets to pick up his daughter, and that's the goal. That's the end goal for me. Being an entrepreneur should be the end goal for everybody. When you have kids, it's like be able to spend time with your family, spend time with your kids or your mom, and as you grow older, you guys are probably discovering now they don't got that much time either, and they're just human. They got medical problems too, and you're just like, oh shoot. I am 25, and all those times I told them, why are you always asking me where I'm at? You're asking them where they're at.
The stuff they don't teach you when you're growing up is like how short time is. Yeah. So
balancing it, I'm still adjusting, but I'm getting the hang of it, and just making sure I'm present as much as possible.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Staying with that, because I mean, I could go on and on about the balance and life, but I think you kind of hit that on the head with like your wife and the profession you're in, right? It's hard enough being a new dad, being a new mom, buying a house, having that mortgage over your head. Have you found challenges in your relationship with the type of work that you do?
100%, because you got to realize it takes a different type of woman to be okay with their man looking at ass all day. Like that's
let's just be real. Like that's just, facts.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It takes a special type of woman to really accept that, but they have to have the trust and the confidence to know that.
Mm-hmm. Security.
Yeah, like, okay, my man is doing this. This is his profession. You know, if I knew walking into this relationship that he was a personal trainer, these are gonna come with it. Yeah. And you know, sometimes there is like some brick walls, but you gotta go through. You gotta communicate it. Even though you gotta remember, like I said earlier, women are just women. You know, they think with emotions first.
We do.
Yeah. And men kind of just think like, it's not that deep.
It's not that serious.
It's not really
We've already broken it down to like the core of it.
It's not that deep. But then again, you realize this girl probably has a big butt, and if she has 100K followers, and now she's training with you, and she's bending over in front of you, and she got 1,000 guys saying like, oh my gosh, and it's like
and training sessions are real friendly, you know, like
sure.
and you know, it's funny, it's like I had to put myself in my wife's position, right? Like she just had the baby, she's at home starting the business, she's looking at my stories, and at the time every single story was a trainer, whether it be male or female. So she's like at home recovering, you know, breastfeeding, take care of the household, and she's looking at all these stories, and she's like, "Oh, it works. How was work?"
Anymore. Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, work is work. Like, trust me, it was still hard, but you know, I think switching roles sometimes is very important to do. Like, okay, like you know, your wife has a different occupation than you. Imagine if she was around a million yous and DJs and Dion's, and you know what I mean. And she's like, "Babe, he just has abs." You'd be like, "Hey," you know. And I put myself in that position. Yeah, my wife works and. No disrespect to anyone she works with, but you know what I mean? Like she's not around that crowd. So I'm pretty secure, you know, slap her in the ass, have a good day at work, babe, I'll see you when I get home. Where she's like, where are you gonna be? Who are you gonna be with? So I think I try to reverse roles, and I think you do a good job with that. I spoke to your wife a little bit, you know, kind of about just everything, life in general, and I think you guys are doing a good job, and it is a partnership, and I think you have a partnership. I think you are very self-aware of the profession you're in, the toll it takes on your marriage, but you also make your wife feel really secure, you know, and I think that's very important.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I definitely fail sometimes too, but it's just like, it's not that deep, babe. Come on now. It was just the video of her squatting.
So let me ask you a question, because we've talked about this on countless podcasts, right? Like, does your wife, and again, I'll tell you my perspective, like, does your wife get mad if you're liking a bunch of girls, like pictures and stuff like that? Like, is that stuff? Okay.
What, you know, Instagram really exposed everyone and says,
like I see you. I see it all. I could see it all.
Hey, Meta, can we get that taken down? You gotta show.
Exactly.
Meta, you gotta show everything I do.
Who did you follow today? Let's see. Are you training her? Nope. So are you following?
Yeah. So you gotta realize, women are FBI agents, man. I swear, FBI gotta hire all women, especially if they got like an M in their name.
Hey.
M or A, you know what I'm saying?
It's the A for me. Amorous, yeah.
So
I'm gonna be honest, I'm an FBI agent for sure.
Exactly.
Homegirl investigation. Yep.
You know, but like it comes to say like, you know, women are women. They're they're possessive in a way, but it's a jealous for each type. It's like, you're my man, and you're only my man. So I get it to a certain point. Even though, I'll get frustrated sometimes, like, here we go again. But you have to understand, like, she's at home with a baby, and obviously, having a baby, your body goes through changes, and then the hormonal balance, and it's like, is this you or is this the hormonal balance?
Oh, don't ever say that.
Don't ever, I mean, yeah.
Hey, can we edit that part out? No,
I never said that to her, but I'm like, I'm thinking it. I'm 100% thinking
I would
it.
ride with it. I'd be like, it's the hormonal, it's the hormones. So then it's like, I can't take
nah,
it.
you're level 10 crazy.
Is that the reason why you got a knife in your hand? It's the hormones?
Yeah, nah, but
just kidding.
That's just it, man. But how does you being a personal trainer in the past? How does your man feel about you being around a bunch of guys who have their shirts?
Oh,
dude, he's like,
he could care less.
Yeah, he could care less.
Yeah.
At the end of the
he
day,
needs to teach a class to women about,
but
being
what? I
independent.
feel like he knew what he signed up for. Like when I first got into that, I was competing. I was doing bikini shows, and we just got together because I was like, "Dang, you're attractive. You're attractive." Like that was how our relationship started. And I think once he knew, like, this is actually my job, I'm getting paid for this, like, abs, all day, every day. And now I'm just like, I see a six pack, I'm like, oh, that's cool, he's in shape.
Yeah, but you also do a very good job of making him feel secure. Like you do a really good job of making sure that he knows that he's a husband. Like he's that guy.
And I think also it helps that I was never the trainer that like had my boobs in everyone's face or my ass was hanging out. But that was just a personal.
Pause. Let me pull up her IG from the.
Wait, no,
I'm just kidding.
Me either.
Yeah.
So I think that was just different because I came into it in a relationship.
Yeah.
Or in a secure relationship, but. That was never my type, right? I went in with like, I want to be a mentor to these girls. Like, yes, I know what sells, but someone's going to take me more seriously if I can teach them something, show them how to make money and be successful. So I personally wanted them to be like, dang, I want to be a businesswoman like her. Like, I'm more than just my pretty face or my body, you know? So I think Gil knows that as well, and he sees my confidence in that. So like, I have more than just like my bod,
Yeah,
100%.
So he's honestly, if you ever meet him, you're like, oh damn, this guy is.
And after she's like, I think she told you, she's just like, I just love him. He's just so chill.
He's the most chill dude. I mean, you could put him in any situation, like any demo, because he has an office job, so you could take him around a bunch of trainers and he'll find his way to mesh in. He'll try his hardest. Bless his soul.
You don't have no knives or anything.
No knives over here.
Yeah.
But another thing, I try to assert her, or not, try to like reassuring her of like being a trainer. And Jason, you get tested. It's like when you're around it all day, you kind of become numb to it.
Oh,
we talked about that.
Yeah,
and just
I
like,
get it. I understand that.
And then when you go to another gym, and then if you bring like your gym homies around, homegirls around, and they're like in sports bras and panties, and all the normal people who are not around are like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But to us, it's just like
you see it all the time.
Yeah. So you come numb to it. So then you really fall in love with the personality aspect.
Yeah.
And that's how that kind of reassures my wife. It's like, okay, like, yeah, I'm around these girls who have nice bodies, but like, I'm kind of numb to it because like I come home to you, my piece, and your personality is everything to me. So it's like, that is another thing that you can test. You just numb to it, so you actually see the personality. And that's not to disrespect any female trainer. Where all the cameras at? None of the personal trainer women. None. Because all the girls I work with and have worked with are dope, and most of them are actually in a relationship. So it's like we're all there for the same thing, and I'm pretty sure they all have their own struggles from a female's perspective, from the dating wise. So it's just like, it's constant reassurance, but then again, you kind of become numb to it after the first couple months. At first, when you start off, like 2019, I was like, oh my goodness. Because, I am a man at the same time, but I'm just like, yeah, I'm just here for money. And then you become numb to it.
Yeah. We were like that too. They're like, are we let have our shirts off? And we're like, as soon as you make somebody feel uncomfortable for having your shirt off, like somebody walks in, your shirt's off, you better say, hello, how are you? How can I help you? Don't just be like, oh, I'm the shit.
Flexing your chest.
Yeah, exactly. So as long as we're still able to be polite and, there for
professional,
then that shows a lot too.
So, but now you're kind of branching. I mean, now you're branching out of training, but you've been doing a lot of extra stuff on the side. You've been modeling. I saw you pick up some sponsorships, and again, tying into this episode, you're sponsored by Meals by Mel, and I feel like you're one of the original sponsors that like kind of put them on the map. I remember you were posting them, and I go, "Who is this Mel girl?" And how do I get these meals? And so like you're one of the OGs to her. You're sponsored by Fashion Nova Men, right? You got an agent now, right? So you're working on some things. So what has been the hardest part of transitioning from being like known as that trainer to like getting into like the modeling and stuff like that?
From our kitchen to yours, this episode is brought to you by Meals by Mel. Enjoy healthy, delicious meals right to your door every day. Use promo code MIX15 at checkout for 15% off your first order. Serving LA, Inland Empire, and Orange County areas. Order today.
That was a good question. How I managed like transitioning from just trainer to Fashion Nova, as well as I just recently signed with Kinetic as well, Kinetic Shorts. I don't know if you guys know them or not, but just trusting the process, honestly. It's a little frustrating. It's a little new. It's kind of like, it's like being a trainer again. It's like I get that itch. It's like, oh man, all right, how do I manage this? But so I've reached out to a manager so I can be able to manage that. So it's just like he teaches me, all right, well, we gotta learn to put more posing. It's like, I did a competition, I know how to pose. He's like, no, it's completely different. So it's like now I'm going into it as like, all right, so as soon as I know this client, I gotta go spend more time, studying how to pose and whatnot, and reaching out to brands and deals to try to really put myself out there. So I feel like I've transitioned to it pretty well because I'm humble about it, but I know I'm pretty. So it's like, it just comes...
He's pretty and humble.
Yeah, it just comes kind of like natural. And obviously, I've had Ziggy on my head about it. If you guys don't know who Ziggy is, got behind the camera, but I've had Ziggy on my head about being, a model. Because every time he films me, he's like, bro, can you just like go model too? Like, you're annoying. And then I've had HB, like every time he smile, he'll say a joke like, bro, your smile like makes me question myself.
That's an HB comment.
For sure.
So like saying, like hearing those things from them, it obviously it's like, all right, if they're a cameraman, they've been around, other women and men, maybe I should go do this. Yeah. So I've started like, all right, let me go ahead and reach out to, one of the executives, and one of the executives from Fashion Nova, his name is Brian, put me on game. He works out at the gym that I work at, and now he's become more of a mentor. Now I've hired him as my manager. So now he's just like, all right, like he was kind of skeptical about it because he's the executive, and I was like, no, bro, like you're in the game, teach me. Like I want to know how to be what you're looking for. What better than going to someone who's at the table? Yeah. I'm trying to eat, so help me eat. You're the one breaking bread. So we've developed a friendship, and he's like, okay, so this is how you're gonna say, what you want from this brand. This is how you're gonna pose. This is what we're looking for in our meetings. He'll call me up and be like, all right, we just had a meeting with, all our executives. This is what we want from each post. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll take it into account. And just being a student in the game. That's how I'm a student in the game in training. I got to be a student in the game of modeling. And of course, when I first started, I got those looks of like, now you're a model? Oh my gosh. Like how annoying. But then again, it's just like,
but you're taking the chance on yourself.
Yeah, you got to really.
That they don't have that confidence.
Exactly. So
and then they don't look as good as you.
They're not pretty.
Yeah, you said it, not me. But it's just.
I'll speak for you, bro. You're a pretty guy.
I think at the end of 22, year 22, I was like, at 2023, I got to really take a chance on everything, go after it, because Ziggy goes on my head about it. Dre, my wife, and HB, they're always constantly drilling me. Even you, like, what's next? And I always remember when we go back to that conversation of when you told Dre, it's like keeping retention of trainers. Like, if you keep one for 1 year, you're doing a good job. For 2 years, what are they doing wrong? What are you doing wrong? They should be growing. So I've kept it in my head. I'm like, okay, I've been a trainer for 3 years now. What's next, Justin? And I'm just like, all right, maybe Ziggy's right. Let's go after it. Maybe Dre's right. Let's go after it. Maybe my wife was right. Let's go after, these brands. I'm only young once. We're only young once. And I'm about to reach 30. As hard as that is to say. But,
it gets better in your 30s, I promise.
I've heard that. I've heard 30s and 20s, so I'm excited
you get wiser. You look better. I mean, you have more money.
Hey, man, you want a competition at 30. You look good, brother.
I mean,
So, yeah.
seven first place trophies.
You got to just, believe in yourself. Like I said earlier, I'm just trying to brand myself, and it wasn't a diss for me leaving Self-Made because, obviously I live across the street from, the gym I work at now. But it's just like, all right, I am my own person. I got to take what I learned from you guys. So now I got to branch myself out as a brand. And like, all right, I can step into this avenue. We never know. You might see me on the big screen one day. Hopefully.
Ooh, look at that. He smiles. Your camera's right there, bro.
Hopefully, man. Hopefully.
I mean, you've been doing this, like you said, 3 years training. You just started modeling. what's something, you know, now that you're kind of like, you know, you still have a lot of growing. To me, you're still young. You still have a lot of growing to do. But now you look back, you have a wife, you have a kid, you have a house, you know, successful business. What's something like younger Justin would be proud of? Like if right now you sat next to like 15-year-old Justin and like you guys walk in the room and you're sitting on the couch, like what's one thing that he'd be like, bro, this is dope that we've accomplished?
That's a really hefty question. 15-year-old Jay, he'd be surprised that I'm an entrepreneur. He'd be like, bro, you're supposed to be a firefighter. I'm like, hey, man, God's plan. But he'd definitely be surprised that I've had I would say I struggled with confidence when I was younger. So he'd be like, you got confidence now. That's where I need to go. So if I could go back to him and be like, it's going to come through. Your confidence is going to come. Don't worry about it. And then, because I was a little ugly duckling, you know, when I was like 15.
What? No way.
Yeah. So like 16, 17 is like, boom, I arrived, glow up. So that glow up, once it hit, that confidence came in, that Justin's arrived. So yeah, that would be it.
So you think 15-year-old Justin would look at you and be like, damn, brother, like this?
Yeah, he definitely. Bro was like 5'8", 140.
He'd be like, damn, bro, I grew. Okay, I like this. No, I like to ask that because, you know, it's like what we think life is when we're younger. And, you know, 15 is pretty young, but even like what you thought life was when you were 18, what you thought life was when you were 21. And like you said, you wanted to be a firefighter. You know, we have people in here that like DJ wanted to be a social worker. Yeah. And it's like, it's crazy if you go back and if you just think about that, like what would my younger self be proud of me for? What would my younger self be happy to see? You know, like, because you talk to yourself all the time, even when you're younger, you know, you probably envision yourself, I'm going to be a firefighter, I'm going to be at station, whatever, I'm going to have my pension, I'm going to have this, you know. But now it's like, wow, how life has turned to a totally different direction. So I always like to ask people like, what do you think you'd be proud of, you know? And now like the same thing, like, let's just say 10 years from now, what was something that would be a goal that you would be proud of? Like Justin in, what are you, 28 right now?
28.
Okay, 38-year-old Justin. Yeah. Like where do you see that life looking like?
I see it how you guys are, man. Different branches of striving for different branches of income. Me and Ziggy are actually talking about on the way here. Cause I told him, we're actually talking about the question you just asked me. He's like, man, imagine if I actually became a firefighter. He's like, nah, bro. He tried to tell me, he's like, nah, you have that aura about you that you need to be an entrepreneur. And I'm just like, man, he's right. So I was thinking about on the way here, like, he doesn't know that, but I was thinking about like, dang, what would I be if I was still a firefighter? If I was if I actually achieved that. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. Nothing at all wrong with that.
No, it's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. It's like you have so much ambition for yourself. You have so 100%. Many things. You're creative, so you have thoughts. So it's like you'd be sitting in the station, probably cooking chow, sitting at the table, going through Instagram, looking at other people that are doing what you're doing now. And being like, damn, like I could have done this, but you know, but I'm still happy because I'm helping that. So that's what I always tell people is like, it's very easy. I had a conversation with a trainer yesterday, and you know, it's like it's very easy to get tied into something, and then you use that extra income of like working that 9 to 5, and then I need to buy a house, and now you're tied to that. So there's nowhere for you to go. So especially if you're younger, which I consider you younger, you're making income off of what you love. It's like now explore every fucking option that you can, everything that you can, because the more you put yourself out there, the more you shoot, the more likely you're going to make it, you know? And I think you always had a good attribute of wanting to be a student of the game. Even though now I'd consider you kind of like up there with all the veteran trainers that we have, you still consider yourself like a student. And now you're just a student and like, how do I get out there? Like you said, like the posing, that's such a huge thing. You know, like you do know how to pose. I ain't gonna lie. I look at your Instagram, I'm like, okay, so put the hand here, put the back. But see, I don't got that pretty face like you, so it's like, okay.
You got the beard though, man. You got the beard. I need that regimen.
I guess the blessing. But I mean, even looking down the line of I know we kind of talk like off this and things that you want to do. Like, do you feel like you've lost a lot of people along the way?
I think, yeah, of course. I think that comes with, you know, you just got charged to the game. Some people don't see the vision, and you can't be sad about that. You could be like, let me say that. You can be sad about it because they didn't believe in you. You can be sad about, you know, my homies from day one are looking at me different because I didn't pursue what I told them I was at 15 years old. But now you're trying something different and you're inspiring others, and now you got, you know, quote unquote Instagram famous, and now they're calling you, you know, brand new or fake. But in reality, I think they lost themselves in believing in you. And you guys probably could attest to this. Like, you guys are now inspiring others. You know, how many people looking back at it, you know, they're like, how come she didn't inspire me or he didn't inspire me? You know, maybe they stopped believing in themselves. So I feel like I didn't really lose people. And if I did, they lost themselves. Because even my best friends from 15 years ago can tell you, I've always been a hustler. I've always been someone that's like, my number's still the same. You know, I still got the same friends from grade school. And I've been more blessed to be like, all right, it was an issue starting. It's like, oh, Justin's always working. Where's he at? He doesn't have time to hang out anymore. But it's like, no, bro, like, I'm trying to grow as a person. So if I ever lost anybody, it's your loss.
Yeah. Your vision's just getting clearer.
It's just more clear, more focused, especially being a parent. You get more ambitious to achieving those goals because your kids are going to figure you out one day. You know, how can you look at your son or your daughter and say, go after your goals when you haven't? And you haven't even taken the first step to do that. So how can you tell them when they get to 15 years old, when they're saying, Mommy or Daddy, I want to be an astronaut, and it's their dream.
Yeah.
And it's like, you say, go after it. And like, dreams can happen. But did you go after it?
Yeah.
You know, they're going to figure you out. And that's another thing that changed, that flipped the switch in 23 is like, having this baby girl, she's going to figure me out one day if I don't go after everything that I knew I could have gone. I don't want to miss my mark. I don't want to leave nothing on the plate that I could have finished. So I want to touch as many lives as I can. If I lose people on the way, you weren't meant for me. You were there for me to learn from you, or you're learning from me. And I know that my OGs, obviously you guys, are always going to be there for me. So I can reach out and say, hey, when you hit this bump back then, how did you get around it? That's how I look at it.
I like when you said that. You said charge it to the game.
You got to charge it to the game.
The game, you're going to lose some people. You're going to meet some new people. Your circle is going to get smaller, tighter, newer people. But it's all to get to the top.
100%.
Right? And if everybody's on board with your success, like you said, you got a pretty good community of people, I would say, that support you. Us included. You know what I mean? You got your sponsorship with Ms. by Mail. You got the Fashion Nova. You got some things that we talked off online that you're working on. You know, and so for you, I'm gonna title this episode "Charge It to the Game" because it's like you know what you want, and it's one of those things like you're on board with it or you're not. You know, like for me, it's always like if it ain't helping my wife or my kid or me, then it probably ain't for me. I'm just gonna charge it to the game. Yeah. I mean, so for us, we want to thank you
so
for jumping on the pod. I feel like we got to have you on again. Because I feel like you have a lot of you got a lot of info. You got a lot of deep stuff.
Give me 6 months, man.
I was actually gonna say I'm gonna some of those things we talked off online. I want to check in with you and see where you're at with that, and then get you back on.
And I hope it'll keep me accountable 100%. And like I even told Ziggy earlier this year and Dre when I left Self-Made Rancho, I want to make things happen. And I'm gonna tell you guys, give me 6 months. That's my timeline. I tell myself every day, 6 months, right before the year ends. I got to make something different happen. And I told myself I will make it happen, and I believe it will happen because God moves people in different ways. And it's just like, all right, why do I have this person coming? Why do I have this person coming in my life? These opportunities are coming. Why is, this career option shut down for me? I did everything right to a T. How come this door shut on me? And then later I'll be like, oh,
that's why
I'm meant for something different. So give me 6 months, man. I'll have some brand new things.
I mean, it's not like we don't got it on camera, and it's not going to be on YouTube, and it's not going to be all over all the platforms. No, man, but I definitely think we need to have you back. We definitely have you back in 6 months, and we'll kind of reevaluate, and hopefully, or God willing, let's see what direction it goes. But we want to thank you for jumping on the pod with us. As always, my man, my biggest supporter. I'm your biggest supporter. Until next time, you guys. Thanks for tuning in.